You guys, what's good? Today I'm going to do a video on P.U.N.K Plunder Patrol. In episode 2, I talked about all the different engines that you could pair with Plunder, and to be honest, I straight up forgot about P.U.N.K. So to make up for that, I'm going to do a whole video on this one. I put together a deck profile for you guys, and I'm going to go through the combos of how P.U.N.K really works with Plunder and how you can combine those archetypes. And then after that, I'll go through some pros and cons, whether I think it's good to play in the format or not, and kind of just give my thoughts on the deck. The synergy really lies between P.U.N.K and Plunder. The synergy is that Plunder combos really start with making a level 8 synchro, which is Jord, and P.U.N.K is just a level 8 synchro engine. So we are going to try to use the P.U.N.K engine to get into Jord while further facilitating the rest of our combos with the extra cards in our hand. So I'm going to go through a profile, and then I'm going to do the combos that you need to know if you are going to play this build. So make sure you catch both of those. And with that being said, let's go ahead and check out the deck list. All right, my fellow shipmates, let's get into this deck list. It's a 41 card list, 15 card extra, with combos, with alternatives for budget players, and alternative combos for post side, because a lot of your side deck might change up. So Plunder part of the list is going to be pretty much the standard Plunder ratios. We're going to play the full Plunder package, and that is 3 white, 3 blue, 3 black eyes, 3 golden hair, and 2 red. Standard. This is the same as my adventure Plunder list, same as I would play in a pure Plunder list with hand traps. Pretty much any Plunder list outside of Runick would play this ratio. And then I'm also on 3 field spell, 1 emblem, and 1 terraforming. So this is our complete Plunder package. It's 19 cards. That leaves 21 cards for our P.U.N.K and Kashtira cards plus non-engine. It's a lot to fit in, but I think we're able to do it. Now let's go ahead and get into the P.U.N.K stuff. So for the P.U.N.K stuff, we're playing 2 Foxy Tune, 1 Xiamen, and 1 Deer Note with 3 emergency teleports. So I'm kind of like back and forth on these ratios, but my reasoning basically is if you open emergency teleport, then you go for Xiamen, of course, and then Xiamen will always have Foxy Tune to search. If you open Xiamen, you can just normal summon it and do your full combo. And if you open both E-Telly and Xiamen, then your E-Telly is a little bit dead, but we are playing 1 Ghost Ogre. So we have another way to use the E-Telly, a way to use it to extend or use it as an interruption. So this is our P.U.N.K lineup. 2 Foxy, 1 Deer Note, 1 Xiamen, 3 E-Telly, and it's just a 7 card engine. And then for the Kashtira part, I'm just on 2 Fenrir right now. I think 3 is a little bricky, but if you want to go all in on the Kashtira side of this, you can easily play a 3rd Fenrir and get away with it without much problem, and I might even move to that eventually, but for now, just the 2 Fenrir. And that leaves 12 or 13, I have 13 spots of non-engine. Kashtira you can even call kind of non-engine, as like a board breaker type thing, but I am on 1 Called By. This deck gets crushed by Ash Blossom at the right time, so I do want to play a Called By. And then for the defensive cards, I'm on 3 Dark Ruler No More. For the Hyper Combo decks this format, for the Arise Heart kind of kills this deck too, so I want to be sure to be on Dark Ruler. And then I'm on 3 copies of Ash, 3 copies of Nibiru, 1 Ghost Ogre, as I said, because of the E-Telly. And Ghost Ogre is really not that bad this format, especially with the prevalence of Purrely. You can use Ghost Ogre in the draw phase, and if they just summon like a Purrely or Purrely and use effect to rank up or something, you can Ogre it. Hopefully they don't have the card that protects, but Ogre, or you can use it on like My Friend Purrely. It's decent against branded these days because using it on Cartesia or on Albaz or using it on a Quem is actually kind of good nowadays. And it's decent against Cash. You can just use it on a Kashtira Births. And then the last 2 cards is 2 copies of Imperm. So that leaves that's a 41 card deck with, let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12 going second cards, 14 if you include the Fenrirs. So I'm going to go through the extra deck, and then we will talk through the combos. Alright, the extra deck is the same, again, as my Plunder Adventure Extra, but we do have some different options because of the P.U.N.K stuff and the Kashtira stuff that we can tech in, and I also have some budget options as well. So, 3 Blackbeard, and then 2 of everything else: Mowerk, Liss, Bran, and Yord. You can play 1 Yord, that might be the way to go. And then the rest we have 1 Almirage, 1 Dragite, 1 Barone, and 1 Zeus. So I might be cutting this Zeus for something more versatile, or just like different lines. If I had a white Aura Whale, I would play that, especially with Dark Ruler no more. We need ways to clear the board, and I just need to get myself a damn white Aura Whale. We also have other things we can go into. Because we're playing punks, we could play some decent going second level 8 synchros. For example, like Draco Berserker of the Tenyi might be a solid option. And then for budget options, instead of this Barone, I'll talk about it later, but we can play Chen Ying here, and it actually has some decent synergy as the level 10 synchro. So yeah, that's going to be our extra. It's standard. It doesn't really change because we're playing the punk stuff, but it does. The punk stuff does add more versatility, more flexibility in your extras. Let's get into combos. So combo number 1 is going to be the basic punk combo, and this is really with Xiamen plus any plunder name. Let's go ahead and use Redbeard because it's the worst one and it's the least complicated, and we're just going to go ahead and talk through it. So let's say we open Xiamen plus Redbeard plus 3 copies of Dark Ruler no more in our opening hand. Normal summon our Xiamen, activate effect to search a punk, and we're going to add the Foxy Tune, and now we're going to activate Foxy Tune, discarding the plunder name. Doesn't matter what it is, just discard it. We're going to discard the Redbeard here to summon the Deer Note from deck. There we go. Summon the Deer Note from deck. Now we're going to go ahead and Synchro 8 for our copy of Jord. There we go. So now we have Jord. On summon of Jord, we're going to use the Deer Note effect to revive a punk name. So we can just go ahead and revive the Foxy Tune, because why not? And then we are going to use Jord effect, put it in our pendulum zone to add back the Redbeard to our hand. Okay, so now we have Redbeard plus 3 in hand. We're going to use the Jord effect to summon the token. So we're going to return it to the extra deck to summon a token to our field, and of course to our opponent's field. We're going to call it Light Attribute, and we kind of know where we are. If you know the traditional combos from episode 1 of the series, we're just going to go ahead and link the token and the Foxy Tune into the Blackbeard. Blackbeard is going to use effect to summon a copy of Liss and equip itself and draw 1. So here we go. And now we can use Liss to special summon back the Blackbeard. So now we end on Liss plus Blackbeard plus 5 in hand, one of which is a plunder card necessarily. So we do have ammo for the Liss. So that's kind of like the standard punk combo. And that is done with either Xiamen, normal summon, or emergency teleport. So if you have E-Telly, it's the same thing, except maybe you can extend a little further with your normal summon. So if you have a whole bunch of plunder cards in your hand, then you can perhaps get into an extra interruption somehow. Or if you have 2 plunder cards in your hand and you know all of the 2-card plunder combos that I talked about in episode 1, maybe you can just use the punk engine to go right into something like Dragite, or Draco Berserker the Tenyi, or whatever you want to use your level 8 synchro summon on, and then you can use your 2 plunder cards to just go ahead and go into this standard Liss and Blackbeard play. So yeah, that's essentially the basics, the standard go-to if we just have Xiamen or E-Telly. Now let me show you what happens if we introduce Fenrir into the mix, because having Fenrir allows us to go into a little bit more of a fancy stuff, including the Baron de Fleur. So let's go ahead and set up our opening hand with Xiamen, a copy of Fenrir, and specifically it has to be for your plunder card. It has to be either, in this scenario, we can open blue, emblem, or the field spell, and of course terraforming as well. So we have 3, 6, 7, 8 cards to open in the third slot. Now, if we have, instead of Xiamen, we have Emergency Teleport, then any Plunder card will do. Then we can do with Whitebeard or Black Eyes or Redbeard, because we will have our normal summon available. But if we open with just the Xiamen and the Fenrir, then we need to have either blue or field spell. So let's, for example, show you with the field spell what we can do with, and then we'll just also have 2 Dark Rulers in hand, kind of as blank cards that don't really help the combo at all. We're gonna do what's kind of expected. Special summon the Fenrir. We can now normal summon the Xiamen, activate effect to search our copy of Foxy Tune, assuming we don't get drolled. Now let's go ahead and use the Fenrir effect to add the other copy of Fenrir. From here, what we're gonna do is use the Plunder field spell. Let's go ahead and activate that. Get rid of this token first of all. Let's go ahead and activate the Plunder field spell, and now we are going to discard the Fenrir, the extra Fenrir, to search a copy of Bluebeard. We'll go ahead and add the blue, and now let's use our Foxy Tune effect, discarding the blue to summon our copy of Deer Note from the deck. Okay, with this we can use Deer Note and Xiamen to synchro summon into Jord. And then on that summon, we will use Deer Note to revive the Xiamen. Okay, so now we have field spell, 2 in hand, Fenrir, Jord, Xiamen. And right here, we are going to synchro 10. And we're going to summon our Baronne de Fleur. Okay, and if you cannot, if Baronne is outside of your budget, then I would go for a Chen Ying. And the reason why is that Chen Ying synergizes well with your Moerk and your Bran, because whenever a card is banished, we can banish some more stuff. So if you can set up Chen Ying next to a Moerk, then you're going to have a good time and just be able to clear a lot of your opponent's cards. But of course, Baronne for the negate is optimal. We're going to summon the Baronne, and now we are going to use Jord effect to add back the Bluebeard from our graveyard to our hand and place our Jord in the Pendulum Zone. And then we're going to use the Jord effect, return it to the extra deck to summon our token, and of course the token to our opponent's field as a light. Okay? Now, because we have a Bluebeard in hand, we can special summon it, all right? So we're going to go ahead and special summon the Bluebeard here, and then we can use blue and the token to summon our copy of Blackbeard. And then, of course, as is usual, we're going to use our Blackbeard effect targeting itself to summon our copy of Liss and draw a card. And then we are going to use Liss to summon back the Blackbeard. So now our end board is field spell with Baronne, Liss, and Blackbeard plus 3 in hand. Okay, so yeah, that's our combo. And if we didn't open the field spell, if we just opened Bluebeard altogether, then we would never have to have discarded that first Fenrir. So if we open Bluebeard instead of field spell, it would look like this. We would have Baronne, Liss, Blackbeard, Fenrir, and 3 cards in hand. So anyways, it's unlikely you're opening Fenrir because we're only playing 2, but it's just good to know the extra combo line to get you over the edge to summon the Baronne on top of your usual board. Now, let's have a quick think about post-side. Siding in Plunder Patrol often brings in Bestials, okay? And when I bring in Bestials, I take out my Fenrirs. And in that case, we want to think about what would we do if we open a Bestial instead and we sided out our Fenrir. So in the scenario where we have like Magnamut plus Xiamen plus any Plunder name, kind of like we just had before, it's the same combo possibilities as what we already just talked about. So let's imagine we open Magnamut, Xiamen, and Bluebeard. Now we can do our Xiamen combo. Let's go ahead and normal summon the Xiamen. Go Xiamen effect to search our Foxy Tune, and then we will use Foxy Tune, discarding the Bluebeard to summon our Deer Note, and then we can use these to go into Jord. All right, And then on Jord Summon, we can use Deer Note effect to bring back our Xiamen. Now, what do we do with our Magnemite? Well, we can summon it, banishing our Foxy Tune, because Foxy Tune is a light. Okay, and then we'll use Magnemite effect, of course. And then from here, before we get into Jord and Plunder Patrol plays, we can actually Synchro 9 into a copy of Virtual World Kyubi Shen. And this is pretty much like a Macrocosmos from the field only for monsters. And if you think about it, the decks where Bystials are good, Shen is probably also good into. So you can consider adding this in your side deck, or even just leaving it in your extra deck if you have extra space, so that when you side in your Bystials, you can easily go into the level 9 Synchro play here, and then kind of proceed to hopefully overwhelm your opponent with some banishing effects. But anyways, from here, we're just going to do our standard Jord combo. Go ahead and, whoops, that doesn't go there. This goes to the Pendulum Zone, and we add back our Bluebeard. Jord, we're just going to summon our tokens for us. We'll put one on our field, and then our opponent will have one. And then we can special our Bluebeard, link off for our copy of Black, summon the list summon the black, and we'll have a draw one. So this is our end board if we have Bystials instead of the Fenrir, which is probably more common because we're going to be siding in a lot of Bystials most likely, and probably replacing some of our hand traps with that, replacing our Fenrirs with that, and it's fairly common to be able to go into Shen post side deck. So think about that. Hope you guys enjoyed this deck profile, enjoyed the combos. Let me talk about really quick what I think of this deck in the meta. The fact is, it kind of is rough against hand traps, which are going to be kind of prevalent in this particular meta. And it's also weak to Shifter and a Rise Heart. But really, what deck isn't weak to Shifter and a Rise Heart? But, you know, the Punk cards are just more cards that lose to the banishing effects. So it's fun if you want to play a build of Plunder with a little bit more gas than the standard or the adventure build, and it's also cheaper than the adventure build, you know, debating on if you play Barone in your adventure build or not anyways. So yeah, this is what I think of the deck. I'm enjoying it. I think I'm going to try it out at my next locals whenever I play Plunder, because I'm on Plunder for now, of course. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Let me know what you think of this build in the comments below. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel. If you're enjoying the content, check out my branded basics content. My Plunder Basics content is here, and then I'll be getting into the Chimera deck shortly. The cards are in the mail now. I've gotten about half of them. So we'll catch you guys later. Thanks for watching.